All right, so get ready to really dive deep into the world of Ascendance of a Bookworm.
Oh, I am so ready.
We are not just going to be like revisiting the plot, like a summary. We're going way deeper, doing character analysis, looking at themes, and some of those just like burning questions this anime just sparks.
It really does.
And we've got excerpts that I think really like dig into the heart of it all.
I think what's so captivating about Ascendance of a Bookworm is that it takes this seemingly simple premise. And I mean, on the surface, it's like, okay, a book lover reborn into a world without books, but then it just turns into this commentary on an ambition, societal structures. And I think really gets to the essence of human connection.
Yeah, and like it really makes you think like what would we actually miss?
Mm.
You know, if we were suddenly without readily available books. I mean, our protagonist, Myne, is a total modern day bibliophile
Hmm.
who just like finds herself reincarnated into this like medieval-esque world
Mm.
where books are not just rare, they're like a total luxury only for the elite. I can't imagine a more agonizing scenario for someone who lives for stories and knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. And her desperation for books, I think it's more than just like a whimsical character quirk, right? It's a reflection of how deeply we as humans crave knowledge, this escape, that intellectual stimulation that books just give us. And I think her journey really reminds us how much we depend on these like seemingly simple objects for our own growth and well-being.
Yeah, and she doesn't just like sit around and like mope about it. Like she
Yeah.
takes action. I mean, inventing papermaking and early printing, that is just like next level dedication.
Oh,
Would
yeah.
you agree?
Remarkable. Her resourcefulness is remarkable. I think it really speaks to just the power of a single person's determination to just reshape their circumstances. I mean, she embodies this idea that you can overcome limitations through creativity and like sheer willpower.
Yeah, it makes you think about those times when you were just like so consumed by a desire to learn something new.
Mm.
Or maybe you were like hunting down a particular book, you just had to read it.
Yeah.
And it's like that
Yeah.
feeling of like, I need this. And so I think Mayan's drive to create books in a world without them is a feeling that I think a lot of us can relate to.
I think it's a very universal human experience, absolutely. But as with any grand endeavor, my own pursuit of knowledge it doesn't come without its challenges, right? And that brings us to the devouring, this mysterious affliction that is constantly threatening her progress.
Right. It's not just like a random plot device. The devouring just seems so intertwined with like her very being.
Yeah,
Adding another layer of complexity to her character.
absolutely. On the surface level, it's explained as this magical imbalance. Her body, it's just too frail to like contain the immense magical energy that she possesses. So it manifests as these fevers, weakness, this constant threat to her health. So I think of it as like a physical manifestation of her extraordinary nature. It's almost like a burden she has to bear. But the beauty of it is it's also a metaphor, don't you think?
Oh, I'm here for the metaphors.
Hmm.
So like what kind of metaphor do you see in the devouring? Because it definitely adds this layer of suspense to the story. You're like, oh, is she going to overcome this?
Hmm.
Can she achieve her dream? With this hanging over her.
Well, I see the devouring as this like brilliant metaphor for the all-consuming nature of passion itself.
Yeah.
It's suggesting that like our most fervent desires, even ones that come from, arguably noble intentions like my Bari, they can come at a physical and emotional cost.
Wow. So it's almost like this story saying that ambition, even for something as pure as like a love of books, can have unintended consequences. And it's not just limited to her, is it?
Precisely. Treating the devouring is not cheap. It's far beyond the means of her commoner family. And this really highlights those like stark social disparities within this world. And it ultimately forces Myne to navigate this very intricate and often ruthless world of the nobility.
Right. It's like it doesn't matter what world you're in.
Yeah,
Having access to those essential resources just totally impacts the trajectory of your life.
it really does.
Like in this case, it's healthcare. But this could be any number of things. But speaking of which, I want to talk about her family for a second. Because her parents, Effa and Gunther, are just so loving. But they're understandably concerned. I mean, just imagine being in their shoes for a second. Their daughter is like undeniably brilliant, but she's also incredibly fragile.
Right, the weight of that.
Yeah.
Imagine the worry, knowing that your daughter's pursuit of this seemingly impossible dream might just come at the cost of her own well-being. It's a powerful illustration of how one person's ambition can have these ripple effects on those that are closest to them.
And I think it's a testament to just like the strength of their family bond,
Yeah.
that they don't try to just squash her dreams entirely. They find ways to support her, even when it's tough. It shows the complexity of family dynamics when you have a child who is exceptional, but in a way that makes them vulnerable at the same time. But Myne's support system goes beyond just her immediate family. We can't forget Lutz, this childhood friend that keeps her grounded, provides that like unwavering practical support. He's more than just a friend, right?
Yeah, Lutz is a compelling character in his own right. He's this fascinating counterpoint to Myne. And as Myne's ambitions lead her into the world of nobility, Lutz is carving his own path within the merking class. He's a reminder that ambition can take many forms, and that success isn't one size fits all.
He's like, I'm gonna do my own thing, but I'm here to support you. And their bond, I think, really shows the power of just like loyalty and enduring friendship. But they're not alone in navigating this new world. We have Ferdinand, this enigmatic priest who becomes Myne's mentor. And their initial interactions, I don't know about you, but I found them so intriguing.
Ferdinand is a fascinating character, full of contradictions. He's initially wary of Myne, almost antagonistic. He's seen the destructive potential of unchecked ambition, and her abilities make him very cautious. So it creates this delicious tension. Their relationship is not just like unwavering support. There's a constant push and pull, this clash of personalities, even ideologies.
Right. You're always kind of like on the edge of your seat, like, is he going to help her achieve her goals? Or is he ultimately going to be an obstacle? And there's this sense that he's operating on a different level, with motivations that go way beyond what we see on the surface.
And that air of mystery is what makes him so compelling. His motivations, they remain ambiguous. And it leads us as viewers to question his true intentions. Is he truly invested in Myne's success? Or is he using her for his own purposes?
Yeah, it's a question that just lingers in the back of your mind. You're like, what's he really up to?
He's a character that just defies easy categorization. And that's, I think, what makes him so captivating. But as much as we love to dissect individual characters, we can't forget the bigger picture here. Ascendance of a Bookworm is about so much more than just like one girl's quest for books. We're talking about resilience, social change, the power of human connection. It's about the choices we make, the sacrifices we're willing to endure, and the impact our ambitions have on the world around us.
And that's precisely why I think it resonates with so many viewers. It's a story that speaks to our shared human experiences, our desires for knowledge, for connection, and our capacity for, great ambition, but also profound compassion. Absolutely. And on that note, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and dive even deeper into the world of Ascendance of a Bookworm, and we'll unpack these themes in more detail.